Here to show us some heart-healthy recipes for the grill is Dr. Cynthia Brenden from Health Partners Regions Hospital. Good morning, Doctor.
Good morning.
Great. Thanks for being here.
Thanks for having me.
Appreciate you having you here. What do you got here, first of all, on our menu for today?
Well, we have three very heart-healthy entrees to discuss today. The first is a shrimp scampi. The second is a Mediterranean chicken kabobs. And the third is a grilled salmon with broccoli and orzo.
Wow, I think let's start with the shrimp if we can. Not normally scampi, not normally known.
No, absolutely
as
not.
a very
when you think of a shrimp,
heart-friendly recipe.
Right, a shrimp scampi, you think of high butter and not healthy. This particular recipe, though, is very heart-healthy because it substitutes the butter for olive oil. Shrimp is actually, again, also a heart-healthy option. It's lean in protein, it's low-fat, and so it's really a great option for the heart-healthy diet.
And relatively easy to cook.
Relatively easy to cook.
When it comes to the pasta, as far as heart-healthy goes, are we looking at whole grains and things like that versus just the unbleached flour?
Right, so you want to try to avoid the simple carbohydrates, the refined sugars, and go for the more complex carbohydrates. And so they're going to be your whole wheat pastas.
And less processed.
Less processed is key.
Let's talk about those Mediterranean kebabs then. What makes these so heart-healthy? I know we've heard of the Mediterranean diet just in the past month. It's really exploded. So particularly, why is this good for our hearts?
So the Mediterranean diet has gotten a lot of press lately because there was recently a New England Journal of Medicine article published that demonstrated that the Mediterranean diet is superior to the low-fat diet in reducing cardiovascular events. So the Mediterranean diet is a diet that's high in olive oil, nuts, lean proteins, fruits, and vegetables. And this entree is a great example of that. It's using artichokes, which is a great heart-healthy food item. It's naturally fat-free, low in calories. In addition to that, it's also using olive oil again. In this particular study, patients were consuming 4 tablespoons of olive oil a day.
Okay.
So quite a bit.
I was going to say, that does seem like a lot when you really consider what 4 tablespoons would be. And the flavors are big. And I suppose that's what helps keep us more full, doesn't it? I mean, we're actually enjoying something that's got a lot of flavor to it.
Right.
All right. Our third dish is the salmon. This omega-3s and those kinds of things that we're talking about.
Yes, omega-3s is also very good for the heart. It's best to get omega-3s through your diet, not through supplementation. So if you can incorporate fish twice a week into your diet, that's the best way to do it. Salmon is a great example of that.
And, you know, people are concerned about fish because they hear about things like mercury and things like that, but salmon and farm-raised, that's got to be pretty good for us.
Even the farm raised is still, you know, the American Heart Association says, you know, it's worth it to get the fish oil in. Take it, it's no problem.
Talk about maybe some tips when it comes to grilling a little bit healthier. When you're putting stuff on the grill, you mentioned olive oil. Is that a pretty generally good substitute for things like butter and those other fats?
Absolutely. Olive oil, as much as you can take in, as long as you're watching the other fat, olive oil will be a great choice for that.
Do you find when you talk to people as a cardiologist, when they come in and they're looking for ways to make their hearts healthier, do we really have any idea of what we're eating and how we're cooking? Because a lot of times that's how we get our fats. It's when we're putting our food together.
Well, the American diet is laden in salt, saturated fats, processed foods. Those 3 are very key in why obesity has become such a problem. So if you can lower your fat intake, lower your saturated fat intake, and stay away from processed foods, you'll be doing very well.
You mentioned salt. Some people, before they even look at the food, we grab the salt shaker, a lot of times based out of habit. How much salt should we be consuming if in a normal diet? I know there are all sorts of different considerations and people with different health concerns. And how much salt is that? If we measure out our portion, is it a lot in our hand or is it a little bit?
So the average American consumes about 3,400 milligrams of sodium a day.
It sounds like a lot.
That's a lot.
It is?
It is a lot. The recommendation is for the average person less than 2 grams. And if you are over the age of 50 or if you have high blood pressure, 1,500 milligrams would even be better. So Americans are consuming more than double what they need to be taking in for sodium.
Because it just seems like there's been a debate over the past 10, 15 years about salt and and as a cardiologist, you see the effects. What does it do to our hearts?
It raises your blood pressure significantly. So study after study has shown that if you stay away from salt, keep a low salt diet, you can lower your blood pressure significantly and maybe even stay away from blood pressure medication.
Don't eliminate it, just limit it. All right. Well, Doctor, thank you very much.
Absolutely.
Great to see you. Appreciate your help this morning.
Thank you.
If you like any of these recipes, you can find them on our website, myfox9.com.